Hello Discovery Kids. I hope you all are doing well. I'm so happy and so excited to go through with you with the life of Joseph. My name is Namita, and I just want to go through with the life of Joseph with you all today, as we have been focusing on it for past 3 weeks, and it's week 4 today. So we all know that we are focusing on that hard times come, but we must continue to serve God with our whole heart. So hard times come, we must continue to serve the Lord with our whole heart. And so far we've learned from Joseph's story that last time Joseph was being accused or was being blamed by Potiphar's wife, and he left his cloak behind and he ran away. So before I jump into the story ahead, I might just go with you with what's up. So when things are going wrong, do what's right. What's up? When things are going wrong, do right. So when I say when things are going wrong, do what's right, that's what exactly Joseph did. And he just resisted the temptation and refused to obey Potiphar's wife, and he just ran away. So our power verse for today is Psalm 34 verse 19. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to rescue each time. Psalm 34 verse 19. The righteous person faces many troubles, but the Lord comes to rescue each time. So today we are going to see that Joseph, he was a dreamer. We learned that. We saw that Joseph was being sold, was being betrayed by his brothers, and was being brought to Egypt. And now we saw last week that he was being blamed by Potiphar's wife on attacking her. So today we see when all this happened and Potiphar came back, and the lie that happened during all that time was told to Potiphar. And what was Potiphar's reaction? It was he sent Joseph to jail. So Joseph was being sent to jail. Can you believe that? That he was a slave, and he even didn't try to attack Potiphar's wife, but he was being sent to the jail. So he didn't even try, he just tried to go away from that temptation. And instead of Potiphar listening to Joseph, exactly what happened, he listened to the lie that was being told by his wife. And so we see that Joseph ended up in the jail. But here we see that even when Joseph was in the jail, he was shown faithfulness by God. So God's faithfulness was on him. God's favor was on him. And as a result of which, he became the in charge over all the prisoners in the jail. And the main person who was in charge was very impressed by Joseph, because Joseph did everything right. He did everything right in the eyes of this master who was he serving now in jail. And we see that later on what happened, that one day when Joseph was in charge of all the prisoners, he saw these 2 prisoners who were there in the jail with him. And because Joseph was minding them as well, looking after all of them, he saw them, and when he looked at them, he was worried. He looked at them and he found that they looked a bit worried. So what he did, he went to them and asked them that why are they sad? Why are they upset? What's wrong with them? And these 2 men said that they both had bad dreams and they don't know what to do about it. So Joseph told them that interpreting dreams is God's business. Interpreting dreams is God's business. And these men, they told Joseph their dreams, and Joseph interpreted those dreams. And do you know, that's something amazing. It's an amazing gift to have if somebody could interpret our dreams. And one of this person whose dream Joseph interpreted was the chief bearer of the king of Pharaoh. And God gave Joseph the interpretation of chief cupbearer's dream. The dream meant that the chief cupbearer was going to be released from prison, and was going to be placed back in the position what he held it in his kingdom. And that exactly happened. Wow, isn't that great? That what Joseph told, that exactly happened. And this cupbearer was released from the prison and was put back into Pharaoh's court. And when he was leaving, when he was going from the prison, Joseph told him that, tell Pharaoh about me. Tell him that I interpret your dream and that I don't deserve to be here, and ask him to release me. So in this lesson we see that how Joseph handled this time in prison. And we are going to learn that when such a situation comes in our life and everything is going wrong, how can we handle those situations in our life? Now, I know this season it's summer and spring just went, and it's summer now, and you would be seeing flowers blossoming everywhere all around Ireland, and especially when you see rose. When you see it, you just feel, wow, what a beautiful flower it is, isn't it? And we, as old grown-ups, we give it as a present, and you as well would, I think, assume that you give as a present to your parents or your brothers or sisters or your friends. So, and it smells wonderful and it looks beautiful. And but there's one thing to that rose, that when we touch it, what do we feel in it? We feel thorns, don't we? There's thorns in it. So there's thorn in every part of the rose. And these thorns hurt, and they can stick to our skin if we are not careful. So sometimes I think, and I know you probably would think as well, that God has created what a wonderful creation, but why did he mess up giving thorns to the rose? But those thorns serve a purpose, and the purpose is that the rose needs to survive from the animal. So basically the thorns protect the rose from animals or birds or, you know, any kind of animal. So it protects it. And same way, that roses will have thorns, so our lives will have problems and difficulties, and those problems can serve as a purpose for us in many times. It can be as a purpose for us, but we need to understand it, that these problems and difficulties in our lives are helping us to mold and shape us into a child of God, into a man, a woman, a character of God. So, and another thing that we learned in the series is we learned about that the God is the potter. And if we look onto the clay, I know you all kids love to play with the clay. You like to mold it, make it, push it, punch it, and but if you just look at the clay, that is that fair to do to the clay? Is it fair to hurt it? And sometimes it's same with our lives, and we feel, why is this happening? Why do we have to go through all this? And this hurts, you know. But when that all pushing and pulling and punching and, you know, shaping is going with the clay, it's coming into a final creation, and the potter is creating. It doesn't become a pot automatically. It's through the pressure and pain that the clay is shaped. So what should you do when things seem to be going wrong all around you? Should you get mad at God? Should you quit? Should you throw a pity party? Let's think back at our Bible story about Joseph. What kind of reaction did he have when things went wrong, even though he had done everything right? So when Joseph was thrown into the prison, he immediately began to show his faithfulness, his hard work, his trustworthiness. He impressed the chief jailer, that the chief jailer put Joseph in charge of the whole prison. Wow, isn't that amazing? Isn't that something we learned from it? That even though when Joseph was facing all those thorns, like I explained through the flower rose, even in that time he kept doing right. He did everything right, whatever he could. And that's exactly happens with us guys, you know. Even when things go wrong and they don't turn the way we expect them to be going for us, it may not seem fair, but don't give up. Keep doing right. When your friends blame you, when your teacher blames you at school that you're not doing well or you're not doing right, or your parents do not believe in you, saying that, oh, you're telling lies all the time, you're not telling truth. And when it seems like, you know, everything is against you and, you know, you're not doing anything right, just remember Joseph. That Joseph kept doing right, and God gave him an amazing position of being in charge of the entire jail. Amazing, isn't it? And he could have complained and quit, but he never would have gotten in the position. Joseph kept doing right even when everything was going wrong. That's what we need to do when things are going wrong. Keep doing right. Remember what else happened with Joseph in our story? When Joseph came across these two men who were worried and sad in the prison, he could have just turned away because he was in charge and thought, oh, leave these two guys, let them be upset. No, he turned to them, he spoke to them, he interpreted the dream to them, and he showed his right way. So he served them, and that's what we need to. So keep doing right, and then always push others first. So instead, as I said, Joseph was probably himself, he was in charge of the jail, and he did ask that cupbearer to tell Pharaoh to remember me and release me out of the jail, but he was still there. He did not focus on his own problems, but he focused on the problem of these two men, and he made himself to help those two men. And kids, when things are going bad, one of the easiest things to do is to focus on how bad things are, to focus at how bad they are, instead of doing that, focus on the needs of others. It is amazing when you focus to helping others. You totally forget about all your problems. You find joy in serving others. So even when your friends turn their backs away from you, you could go to someone who doesn't have friends. When you don't have enough money to buy things, or you have little, you can even help with that little to those who have less. And when people are picking on you, and find someone that you can build up and encourage. So as you focus on others and push them first, you will be amazed at how God works through you. You begin to forget all about your own problems. So Joseph helped these two men by interpreting their dreams. Joseph said that the chief cupbearer's dream meant that he was going to be restored back in Pharaoh's court within a few days, and that is what exactly happened. The dream came true, and the chief cupbearer was relieved from the prison and put back into his Pharaoh's court. So remember that God is in control. Never think that God has turned his back from you. He's allowing these things to happen in order to mold you and make you. And he wants you to be his good child. He is in control. So keep trusting in him. Keep doing what's right. Keep putting others first. Don't forget God is still in control. So today we learned that, remember, God is in control. Put others first, and then always lean on to God. So this is what our focus was today, that hard times come, but we must continue to serve God with our whole heart. So before I finish, we'll just go back to our what's up. When things are going wrong, do what's right. So we learned it today. When things are going wrong, do what's right. So I hope you all keep safe, and we love you. You are being blessed, and God bless you all.